Amazing, amazing. We have Janet Machuka on set today. She has a very strong track record in terms of digital marketing, and she's going to tell us what other things she does. And I think we're going to start with that. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and tell us the kind of work that she does, and from there we're going to jump into this short conversation, but it's a conversation that is going to be very fruitful. It's going to be very impactful for you if you are a content creator and you have just ventured into this space. I mean, right now everyone has to be a content creator, because if you're not building your organization, you are building your personal brand, which is also very important. So we are going to look at what are the dynamics of content and the creative economy in this short session, and we are going to just dive and see what are some of the things that we need to understand, from the basics to the complexities of content creation. And I'm glad to have Janet Machuka here. Karibu sana. Tell us your name and what you do.
Great. My name is Janet Machuka, a digital marketing consultant and trainer, and also the founder of ATC Digital Academy. It's a community of marketers, digital tech enthusiasts, and anyone who is interested in the digital spaces. I am also an agency owner in Nairobi, but we operate globally. And I'm here to share more insights about the creative economy because I've been part of it. And I hope this session will really help you to understand what are the things that you need to talk about instead of just thinking about, I need to have a camera, I need to have a mic, create, post, and that is it. Yes.
Yeah, we've just had you speak in this conference, Leadership 360 Degrees Conference, and you were talking about the content creation and the creative economy. How did you feel about the audience? Are they getting what you are saying? Do you feel they are more competent when it comes to content and the creative economy that they were? What was the experience with them?
One thing I noticed is that by now, actually almost everyone is on social media. That's what one thing I noticed. And then secondly, now that they are on the digital platforms, it's like the main problem is when it comes to content sharing, what actually content can you share to identify your niche, to identify what you love doing, or how can you create it from time to time, how to build the audience. Someone was asking, how do I build an audience when the only people who know me are my friends?
Yeah.
And that's where I talked about a little bit about community, the essence of communities, especially the micro communities where they're already there. So your only thing to do or action is be part of the members, engage, collaborate, talk, be seen. Because at the end of the day, digital is like a marketplace where in the market you can go choose to window shop, choose to talk, choose to go to the one who shouts the most. And sometimes you don't even realize the ones who are very quiet. So it's your marketplace to shout.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you go shout your personal life. Now I'm talking in terms of the actual speaking, the actual engaging with people, the actual creating content. And remember, I look at content as the power. Digital is a marketplace. Content is the power to propel you in that market, to understand that I'm not here alone. So many other people are doing things like you. So how can you stand out? We talk about personal branding, but personal brand still narrows down to content creation.
That's right.
And content creation, I don't want people to look at content creation as, oh, you're going to be a content creator. Even a business owner who is building out there, they're always thinking about what next should I create? What can I talk about? So content creation is not ideally, being a YouTuber, being a TikToker, Instagram, so you can get brands. Everyone who is on the digital platform is creating something, because at the end of the day, what we share is content. So and then the niche aspect of it, it's very hard to identify what exactly you want to talk about. And this is where I usually say it's not like in campus where we selected a specific course. This one you have to try out different things, put yourself in different categories, learn, understand your energy. Understand also something that can be easier for you to create, to embody, and to talk about. Because at the end of the day, some of us never even knew what social media management sounds like and which brands can we manage at the end of the day. But we had to get in the form to understand, okay, maybe health space is not easy for me to create content about. Or maybe agri-tech is the easiest for me to create, and that is how we chose the specific industries. So give yourself a chance to learn, even if you have to do it pro bono. do it. And also master this. People just sometimes decide, I'm not going to be employed, I'm not going to look for work, let me focus on digital. 2 years down the line, they don't even have a client. Shock on you. You wonder, okay, well, I've built this, I've done this, what happened? How are you leveraging the spaces you get into? And remember, the gig economy and the creative economy, it's not promising at times. A gig economy means you're not actually fully employed. You're on contract basis. Anytime the contract can end. So what is your exit? Until when you build yourself to a point that you're pulling right and center, you have contracts, you have to constantly show up and do something, and also find alternative B, where maybe you might choose to be employed to support some of the things that you're going to do. Because digital, you will spend a lot, you will invest a lot, money-wise, time. But again, if you don't have a source, who's gonna help you?
Awesome. Good foundation, good start. And I want to give you this opportunity. If there's anything you didn't say in the session, we have time here right now to hear you. When you talk about digital marketing, you talk about content creation, the creative economy, and you've given such a very good foundation on what you're talking about. But what is that one thing that is very important, maybe you didn't share? I understand, sometimes you come to a particular event, you are very prepared, but you don't say everything. I personally believe in over preparation, where after you've spoken, it should be something that is, but don't just ujaongea, because it shows that you're fully prepared for the session. That's
Absolutely.
For me. Yeah. So there's that one thing you haven't talked about that's really important that I want you to talk about.
I'll talk about one, the shift. I feel like I missed talking about the shift on what is happening at the moment, and then the aspect of why actually should we think about the creative economy in the first place. First things first, the creative economy is divided into 4 categories. It's the people, it's the platform, it's the ideas, and now the content itself. That now has to think about the content, turning it to something which we call income. The people are your target audience. And if you're thinking of the creative economy and getting money out of it, you have to think about, who am I going to get money from? Because you can't just be creating content and say, oh, I hope clients will see me, the way we select some influencers from the audiences. Sometimes you have to do it intentionally.
So that have a target.
Exactly, that target. Who are you? Who do you want to aim to give you money at the end of the day? And then another thing is the platform. Some of us think when you're on digital, you have to create across the platforms, like go hard on them. There are people who have managed to do that, but we don't have to be like them, because you might end up burning out. You don't know the kind of teammates, people who help them behind the scenes, how he pays them, versus you who is starting, you don't have manpower, you don't have monetary aspect of it to pay these people. So think about 2 platforms or 1 platform that you're really comfortable to start with. Build it so well in that the others will now act as supporting brands, not brands, platforms. So focus on one that you're so well in, that you can easily create content, that you can talk about the things that you want to build and be known for. Because at the end of the day, let me give you a secret. We have different creators in the industry. We have different social media influencers. And when they partner with brands, most times you find that, yes, we know you create Instagram content and TikTok content, or maybe Instagram and YouTube content. But when we hire you, or when we give you a contract, we'll ask you to focus on 1 platform. You might send us your rate card with different social media platforms, but we choose 1 platform, and we'll pay you for that one platform. But because you also want to add value to the client, you choose to publish the content across the platforms, but we paid for one platform. So that 1 platform, be very good at it, to a point that even if you don't get paid in other platforms, that one helps you to at least be picked out from the crowd to be able to collaborate with the brand. Another thing now, from the platform, think about the ideas. Because content creation is ideas. There are ideas that are trends. There are ideas that are things that just pop up. There are things that are, they're trends, or rather they're ideas that are things that we go through in our daily lives. One thing I love about the digital, and I keep saying it all the time, is that it's so dynamic. It's very hard to say that this is a trend that will be there for 20 years, for 5 years. Tomorrow you wake up, it's totally different. Something new has come up. Something new has come up. And that means you need to constantly understand that this is a landscape that changes very fast. This is a landscape that needs you to learn, that needs you to try, that needs you to constantly be creative. It's creative for a reason. Honestly, if you're copy pasting stuff from other people all the time, where is your creativity? Or if you can't pick the ideas that are available to innovate them in a creative way, where is your creativity? Yeah. Another last thing I wanted to talk about is under that is the income aspect of it. Remember, you had the people, the target audience, and then you had the platform. Now you got into the ideas, the actual content, and then now the income. How do you turn this presence into income? Remember, we said visibility is power in digital platforms, and your presence is more powerful. And by this I mean you can think of having a profile, a bio that's, super visible, being seen and all that. But we forget that you can be present, you have the profiles, you can think but you're not visible and engaged. Because content is where you get engagements. Content is where you know what is happening with people. And I was mentioning in the conference, I said that people usually think creating content is about them all the time. Some of us actually don't create content some days because we feel like, I don't have anything to talk about. But have you sat down and asked yourself, your fellow competitors who are out there in the market, what are they creating? And how can you be part of their conversations? Human beings are very good human beings. Why? We love gossip. Why do you think we love gossip? And every time someone starts to gossip, we're like, usikate hiyo chai, tuendelee hapo, shikilia hapo. It's because we love listening to watu wanasema, what is their reaction? So where is the reaction on social media and engagements and the creative is the comment section. So that is where you can grab some ideas, because people are talking, people are sharing opinions, people are saying stuff, and then gives you an opportunity, I can do this, or this person has done it well, but maybe it can be done from this point of view. And also add your thoughts. Because one thing I've noticed is through the conversations and content, you end up even collaborating with these people. And collaboration is one of the things that now propels people faster to income. I don't know if you have seen a couple of times the content creators we have seen in Kenya, they collaborate with people who are upcoming, who are starting, and then 2 years down the line, they are now independent. The people who are starting, they're now independent, they're doing their stuff, they're also working with others. Because there's always that freshness they bring to this now brand that has already been developed. So you can be starting as a creative and not yet that point you feel like I can now make money. But when you collaborate with somebody who has already made money, it puts you in a different spot. Because people are like, even you are doing this. That means next time if you're looking for the same person and they have worked with brand A and we are competitors, we should look for them and not you. So you end up, for a very good example says this, let's say I am working with a bank, or a known bank in Kenya. And it has given me a 6-month contract. But there are some other people, when I do my skits, if I'm doing a skit, they are showing up in the videos. Yeah. And then these people are not contracted by the bank. I am the one contracted in the bank. And now Bank B wants to do almost the same campaign. But they check around with influencers, they notice, or content creators, we don't have enough. All these have been taken by all the brands,
the competitors,
the banks. So who do we go for? The people who work with so and so under them. So that's how actually we select people. So that's how now we start turning the collaboration into the income aspect of it. But content creation is not just creating content for the online and all that, and maybe visibility or growing the numbers and whatever we think. and for those who call themselves content creators in Kenya. It goes beyond. There are people doing leadership trainings on Zoom. That's still content creation. There are
Okay.
people doing ebooks.
Okay.
There are people who doing training courses. Content creation also involves the people behind the cameras.
Yeah.
So it's a huge space. It doesn't have to be whoever is in front of the camera. Yeah. And then maybe something I can talk about I missed out sharing is the shift. And I'm glad that I've been in this industry for the longest, so I can tell what has shifted in the space. If you look at 2017 versus now, I will tell you for sure there's a big difference. In that, when we were starting, we were more of consumers. Yeah. We hadn't got to a stage where we are actually now producers because we were learning it. And that is what is happening for so many people. Every day, that is happening. Some people are consuming a lot at the same time learning, but now they have not thought about doing it. And that is why they attend conferences like KIBESCO and Leadership 360, so that they can learn and then they start producing. So the shift is changing to a point that people are not just going to be consumers, they are going to be creatives. And these forums really help them to understand, if I have to start, what should I think of? Sometimes some of us, the shift again, now another one comes from us who was the first creators. We have turned from single individuals creating content to businesses. So that's another shift. Some content creator, you worked with them 5 years ago, right now they own their own business. Because that is what is happening in the market. So the shift is changing to a point that we're creating opportunities, but at the same time we are diversifying and we are changing from just being content creators to being a fully-fledged company. And if you look at the creative economy, we are changing so many things, not just in the content, but also businesses. There's so many businesses that you never used to have a creative team in their brands. Right now, they're all constantly thinking about, we need Ilemsewa Reels, Ilemsewa TikTok, Ilemsewa AI. And it's a lot, but at the same time, it's a way for us to identify now the opportunities that are online. And the opportunities go beyond what we see, because there's a lot that you can do behind the scenes too. We have seen some creative individuals who have turned out now to think about even creating applications. Maybe there's a problem they experience on the social media platform. Now they own apps. They're solving other problems. So I don't want people to look at the creative economy as the so-and-so content creator, they know digital, the fashion, whatever, the hairstylist, the digital marketer, they know Janet and stuff. It's a lot. And if we take time, if we take time to actually listen, sit down with these people and understand, ask them about the problems. And I think that is where we come up with so many opportunities. Ask them about the challenges they have gone through, because that is where the work is. That is where more opportunities are. And that is where now the shifts come in. Right now, what I want to point out mainly is that people look at digital and they hear opportunities, and the next thing is they want to invest. They want to put their time, they want to find courses, they do courses, and then next they're like, oh, I have this course, I have this skill, now I can't find a job. Everywhere lazima kuna tamak. Hata campus tulitoka, wengine walitamak, wengine wakapata opportunity. The question is, how are you using the platforms? Who do you know? And how do you package yourself? We keep on talking about personal branding. Let me tell you something funny about digital. It always rewards the ones who are visible, vocal, and present. You can have a lot in terms of being an expert, but you're not getting the right deals. You have so many PhDs, maybe you are out here. Mtu akushago analima, unashanga, si ulikuwa usome utoke kwa hii shamba. Tena unarudi ushago kwa nini? You know? It's not by choice, it's how they package themselves. And now that comes in the aspect of network. On digital, I look at network differently. Kitambo network was, oh, go to events, listen to the, and then go uliza swali moja. That's network. Nowadays, networking is more than that. Networking on digital, let me give maybe a blueprint, because I'm in that space. digital marketing, creative economy, networking is a bit different. It's more of show me what you can do for me to believe you can actually do it for me. And push yourself to see the gaps in people's businesses, in people's personal brands, and try to see how are you going to change that, or how are you going to help them solve it. If you sit and be like, oh, I've learned social media management, you have changed your bio, waiting for someone to come and give you a job, hey, utangoja. And actually most of my team members,
umeandika digital marketing
hata
consultant.
uandike nini, umeandika kama Janet, yeah? Umeandika, nani alikwambia niwe peke yako consultant? There are so many people. You have to find like we usually talk about grit, but we never narrow it down to what actually grit means. It means you actually shamelessly asking people, shamelessly telling people their issues, their problems. Because honestly, some of us, you might think we are so perfect, we don't have blemishes, we don't have any issue, we don't have any thing to be helped on digital. But someone, when they point out, they go like, hey, baby, do I need that really? And sometimes you have not even budgeted, but you feel like that is actually the right thing to do. My team, most of my team members, that's how we have actually grown. Mtu anakuja nakwambia, hey, what if I help you do this? Kwa like, hey, kwani umeona shida iko wapi? Let's jump onto a call. We do a 30-minute call, and then unatoka huko like, hey, enyewe hapa I need to put hata 2,000 nifanyie kitu. That is how you manage to open up to other people. And then once you get into these teams, build relationships. And by relationships I mean this, not relationships sababu unataka kazi fulani umalize utoke uende. Utafanya hivyo utoke uende, next client utatoa wapi? Yeah? So be part of these people's relationship, in that from time to time remind each other that, you know what, I've upgraded, I've done this, please help me reach out to the rest. How I do, because there's an issue I feel like the creative economy is dealing with at the moment, where wakati ulianza ulipata clients wawili watatu, kwa yeah, mimi nimekuwa hot cake. Alafu contract ikiisha unakuwa kai, kumbe si kwa hot cake yenyewe, you know, because the client maybe is like, I want to try out a different creative. Si huyu tena, I want fresh ideas, because hizi zinaweza kuwa hivyo hivi. And then you find yourself no job, because we are in the gig economy honestly. Hakuna kazi, hujui utapata aje client wako. Na alafu ile pesa ulipewa, wewe ulienda ukaishi nyumba mzuri, hujui gai kumbe kunaweza waka moto. Rent inaweza kosa. How do you go about it? What I want you to focus on is when you build networks, if you can make them not your family, like make them feel like they are part and parcel of you, and you are part of parcel with them. In that, from time to time, you can even ask, oh, do you need help in something? You don't have to always blast, oh, this is the money, this is the budget, this is the rate card. One thing I've learned about branding and community building is that when you build with help, when you build with value, even if it takes 5 years, the goodness usually comes back, and it usually comes back tenfold. Because at the end of the day, when we are in the creative economy, the only thing we are constantly pushing is on personal branding and branding in general. So the question is, how do you let people remember you when people start talking about something? Do people give you as an example? When that person, when people are doing board meetings, there's this trick I use, not trick, a strategy. I usually imagine myself every time, because businesses have meetings every Monday.
It's true.
And then maybe today they're talking about, and the big conversation always lands on customers. And who brings the customers?
Yeah, the marketers.
The marketing team.
Yes.
They're always thinking about reputation. Who brings the conversation? The communication team. And then most of the time they're always thinking, if we are thinking of a campaign, who can we talk to? And the people who are seated there, some of them are not experts in that category. But if they can voice your name and say, oh, by the way, I think we should work with so and so. This is a finance manager. What will not make the entire team believe that they actually need you? Because one of you, who is part of the trustable member of that office, has mentioned you. That is how you. So the question is, how do you make yourself be the conversational topic in boardrooms? That is why you find some people will always have kazi
Yeah.
continuously, unashindwa kwani hawa wasee wao ndio wanafanya gatekeeping kwa hii industry? Hapana, the conversation started kwa hiyo boardroom, hiyo office meeting every Monday.
So
And
intentionally, you know,
being intentional.
yes, to influence the boardroom conversation. So that when you talk about someone who's going to help us to market this, are they going to mention Janet?
Yeah, can the conversation come from, by the way, we should do conversations on X spaces. Like, people might not know your name. Like, yeah, that brown chick or that lady who does pineapple hair and stuff. You know, that way, alafu from the boardroom of 10 people, they'll be like, hata namjua, acha hebu niangalie nione kama namjua. That one. That is hiyo unajua ni maso wamekwambia yes.
So how do you get yourself to be, you know,
being
spoken
intentional? That is where I was coming to. Intentional from a point of, now for example, you're thinking of creating your content on digital. Most times the mistake we make is we create content with the aspect of, I am creating this so that I can get money tomorrow. Don't. Do it because you need to help someone. Do it because you want to entertain someone. Do it because you want to educate someone. Do it because you are the watchdog of the society, depending on the industry you are. Media. Be the media. Act like the newspaper, the radio, the TV, whatever that they do. And above all, make sure that you are helpful. One thing people never forget is how helpful you are to them. And that is why people talk about our people in the boardroom. So how I do it personally is through the conversations on the community. I'm so vocal when it comes to teaching, educating, and then giving people a chance to access people they cannot access, information they cannot easily find, the ideas we come up with, and then giving them a platform. Even if you feel like you are not yet up there to come and talk, I usually nudge them. That's how I mentor people. Once I start mentoring you and maybe I see, and one thing I believe, even if it's someone who's starting, they have something they can share. See it you, sababu we ni 80 years experience, you are the only person who knows everything. Hata hao wanaweza kuja wakuongelesha some things, I'm like, wow, I love how you appreciate and talk about. So some of my mentors, I turn them to speakers. I ask them to come and talk to us about their challenges, their needs. So that, you know, inapatia watu aspects like, you don't gatekeep, you don't just bring the ones who already know, you also identify the ones who are doing it better, and then you give them an opportunity. And then another thing I noticed is that there is this importance of consistency. Talk of the 9 p.m. conversations I have on Wednesday on Twitter, every Wednesday, for 1 to 2 hours. No one pays me to do that. I have been doing that since 2018. And I have to spend money in the graphic designing, to spend money on the community manager. I have to plan myself. Remember, this is a time I need to have my own things, but I'm spending it talking to people and listening to people. It took time, but through that, I built trust. It took time, but through that, because I do it every Wednesday, a director somewhere who doesn't even care about personal branding, content creativity, is listening and learning. Because some people just want to learn and know. That is it. And that is how they talk about.
I've been wanting to ask you. You know, I think we've talked about it, the platform, the one platform. Yes, you have many other platforms in other social media pages, but there is that one platform that you're supposed to build so that these other ones come like a support. For you, that has been X, which is previously Twitter. You know, that thing baffles me, because when you look at your community, you have like more than around 250,000 community right now on X. And that particular community, how do you build a community on X and Twitter, the place that is toxic? I mean, how did you survive that hell? Some people right now, even Uhuru doesn't have an account on X. You know, he quitted. Now you are the one who, you know, one of these guys who you are hosting conversations there, you are posting your thoughts. I mean, how do you come to a place where you are building? How do you build on X a community? You need to give a masterclass on how to build a community on X.
I think I do. And I need to change that, because one thing everyone asks me is, how do you even survive on that platform? And if you've ever noticed, it's very hard for me, people to come at me on anything, because I never step on people's businesses. Honestly, if it's a trend that one thing I had to make decision about is, I'm here to learn, I'm here to build community, and I'm here to spread positive vibes. I'm not here for the negative aspect of it. I think I had to be very intentional on the values that I wanted to bring on the platform. So from the onset, even if it has to be people talking about someone bantering, but then you never see me posting about it.
Okay.
I would rather just read, that's it. It doesn't have to be like I have to. It's not like I don't have things to talk about, but I choose to. And then a community, one thing I think people need to realize is that the 200,000 plus individuals who follow me on X, they don't follow me because of the digital marketing aspect of it only. And that is where now the personalities come in. A question someone asked me during the conference is, how do you know what your content, what your audience wants? How do you also avoid being too vulnerable to a point that you're sharing your personal stuff? I loved that question because I ask myself a lot on, am I oversharing? And sometimes it's okay not to trust yourself. Look for 2-3 people who actually know you in and out. They're like, I don't expect to see this part of you to the public. Keep them close. Before you think about posting it, share it with them so that they can help you. So back to the question of the community aspect of it. I have a community of people who love documentaries. I know you know that.
Every time you're always influencing us to look for documentaries on X. You know, I've come in on X.
Yeah.
You've posted a list of documentaries. I go look for some of them, by the way. And
sometimes when I don't, you guys finish me in my DM and comment because I built it out and I've done it consistently since 2019. I'm the kind of a person when I want to learn something or when I want to get myself into something, I don't do it alone. I feel like it's a bad idea doing it alone, so I do it with the public so that when the demand is there, I know that this is something good to do. Let's continue. So from the 200,000+ people, I have subdivided my community.
Okay.
The people I know who follow me because specifically I publish documentary lists during the weekend.
Okay.
There are people who specifically follow me because I went to school with them.
Okay.
There are people who follow because they want to learn the community conversations every Wednesday.
Okay.
There are people who follow me because they saw me in somebody's conversation we were talking about. There are people who follow because I was having a conversation with a certain individual talking about gender, maybe talking about climate, talking about health, talking about agriculture. So understand that people follow you for different reasons. And there are some, honestly, I know I get recommended when they first join Twitter. Because if you join Twitter, sometimes they suggest some people that you want to follow. Because I know there are people who follow me blindly. It's not like they already know what they want from me. So don't always look at every content creator and people have built themselves on digital and think everyone who follows them is because of how they dress, is because of how they prepare their foods. No. Some of us even loved the way moshene yao ilitoka hapa nje tukadandia tukawafollow thinking of next time we will take some tea too. So understand that, and in terms of vulnerability on what to share with your community, I want you to look at what is your goal. Because one thing I will tell you for sure, the more you focus on your personal life, the more people, the public on the digital, they will get to control you. Because it gets to a point where you don't talk about your wife, talk about your kids, don't talk about your family. Will be like, kwani mliachana? Now the conversation starts. So I believe that it's not about keeping some things a secret. It's just choosing not to put them in public. Even if you meet people who know you, who can see them, who saw you somewhere with your wife, with your husband, with your kids, they don't have to share because they already know this is how this person presents themselves on digital. So like they understand they have to keep that way of you, the way you present yourself.
Awesome.
There is something amazing about perception on digital. It's you to control it. The way people perceive you. The more you overshare, the more you give them the perception that, you can tell us more, she can tell us more, let us poke her.
The perception is key.
Yeah. And then master your emotional intelligence so that you can know. Sometimes you should sit and ask yourself, what if this goes south? What's the wrong thing or the worst thing that can happen? If it goes positive, of course, we don't think much. We're like,
But have you had a content you've done that has gone south? How did you handle it?
No.
Like you're trending now for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
And how
Should
did
I
you
talk
handle
about it?
Talk about it.
last year, December, I think it was October last year, and no, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is because I don't want to give people the chance to talk about, because I decided not to talk. Something happened. Let me just blank it. Something happened last year, October, and then it was kind of now ruining my reputation and the trust I've already built with the people on the digital platform. And what I decided, I was mentioned somewhere. It was on X. People talked about it, and some people tried to reach out. But I like the fact the ones who reached out, my number was shared. Sikusalimiwa, thank God. No one did that. And that is where I learned the power of speaking up, the power of responding to some things, and the power of social media. One thing about social media is that people will never, actually, the people will take sides. Let's just say that. People will take sides. There are some, even if you are super honest to come out, they wouldn't even care about that. They will focus on, iko hivi. We don't care about your story. So the moment people own their story about you, sometimes it's very hard to break that. So what do? I learned that silence is the most powerful thing that you can have at times. Because some people will rush to sharing statements. Some people will rush to sharing some information and defending themselves. But that is the time I think I understood the power of being a communication and PR person, at the same time being a digital marketing person. I had to weigh, if I do this, how are the repercussions like? If I do that, what will happen after that? And the funniest thing of them all, here I am, I thrived, because I chose not to give them the power. Sometimes on digital is good, but the moment you give people your power, especially when your worst comes to worst, when negative stuff are started to talk about you, it's like you're handing them you. And the moment people feel like they have control over you, you know, Kenyans.
Yeah. I'm interested in this. Maybe as we close this, you talked about talk about content, the one platform, but what happens, some of us, even we come to a place where we record content, but then to post it is so hard. I mean, you look at yourself, you cringe. I don't know what that is called, because personally for me, I have a content I have recorded but I've never posted, because I watch it and I'm like, hey man, this thing is not perfect. So how would you advise, maybe the next like 2 minutes as we close, how would you advise a content creator or someone who is just starting out? I mean, we've said right now content creation is very important, that each and every, if you're not building your organization, you're building your personal brand, you need to create content, and it's not just for digital marketers. But how do you come to that place where you're even confident in what you have created, and you want to share it out?
This is one thing maybe you have noticed. Recently you asked me to do a video. And sometimes I also overthink it. I'm like, should I do it like this? Should I do this? What if it doesn't show up well and all that? And there's something I've really loved about being just you, authentic the way you are. There are people who have built their brands from a point of, for example, ladies, if they don't have a makeup, they can't show up anywhere. There's some of us who are like, kaende. Tutakutana mbele. And for me, what I had to learn on how to accept myself all the time. And sometimes I talk to myself. I'm like, yeah, you might think you're shaggy, but at the end of the day, hawakuli hiyo nywele. See your makeup wanaenda kulamba. It's the information they want from your head. And I think that alone calms me down to a point that I'm like, whatever I am spitting, may it be more impactful and valuable, instead of, because you're cringing because you're looking at yourself and you're like, hapana, hii ningefaa hivi, hii ningefanya hivi. Yeah, that's true. And then sometimes it's because the way ulishrub, uliongea kajina vibaya. But do you know that's the most authentic part of you that people want on social media? The reason why some of us maybe are tired of some chat GTP kind of emails and LinkedIn posts is because you feel like it has super perfect English. Hadi uko like, jamani, tumechoka kusoma English hii yote. Like you don't see kakitu kenye kanaweza kupatia that authentic person. Because ukiongea na mimi, tukiongea na wewe, sometimes words inaweza potea. Niko like imagine if you edit that out from a video. We are missing that you as a human being. So it's okay. It's okay to publish it the way it is. I know at the end of the day, you are not here to please everyone on digital, but they don't ever hold yourself to please everyone that you're creating content for. You need those opinions, be it negative or positive, because that is what is going to grow you. That is what is going to give you a chance to think how you can be more creative, how you can come up with better ideas, and how you can do it better. Because at the end of the day, everyone is here to grow. So if someone is not help, but the negative comments are the ones that grow us anyway. So if you're not going to get them, utagrow aje? Si utabaki tu kustagnate hapo kwako kule, lazima nivae kasuti, nifanye na makeup ndio niongee. Try yourself, just to be vulnerable. And I think if you don't want to overthink, look at TikTok. Unaona wanaita vienyeji. The way they create content, na mtu akula millions of views, unashindwa what's happening. Same case as YouTube. There's something that I've been trying to check over the past 2 years. On YouTube, if there's some people usually go to the countryside, they're just talking, recording, they are showing you everything. They have not edited. The video is not even very good quality. Unasikia wind, upepo, gari ndio imepita nini. But do you know how many views those guys have? Whoa, you should do your research. Kibao. Sometimes I look at them, I'm like, why do we overthink content? It's good to edit. That's why sometimes I say, if you have a very good production team, sometimes we add the behind the scenes so that they can make you more human. It's equal like you are a robot who knows everything. Your hair is always nicely done.
So you add the behind the scenes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. I think we've come to the end of this. This has been amazing. We've gotten, this is my camera. This has been very amazing. We've gotten enough information. If not enough, we are going to, make sure you follow Janet Machuka in every platform, across every platform at Janet Machuka. Yeah, on X, she's the most active on X. On Instagram, anywhere, on LinkedIn, she has a very huge community. You can continue with this conversation. She hosts conversation on X each and every Wednesday, as you've heard. So make sure you follow her. Make sure you join the community to continue to learn. But this has been very amazing. We've learned some dynamics when it comes to content. And I think even for me, I've got out with a thing or two that I'm going to also implement as I continue to create content. Yeah, so thank you very much for being here, for being on set. We're very blessed to have you.
Amazing. Asante sana.
Yeah. Think